Good morning, everyone. I'd like to open this public hearing. Um, and just to repeat, uh, anybody that's going to speak, even if you already are on Zoom, please just identify yourself. And we'll try to do this in an orderly fashion. And this is helpful to the people who are on the telephone, as we said. Um, so before the hearing began, I had marked as hearing officers exhibit number 1 in evidence the notice of public hearing in this matter. I had marked as hearing officers exhibit number 2 in evidence the June 7th, 2020 letter from Tim Dean, Chairman, appointing me as the hearing officer in this matter. I had marked as hearing officers exhibit number 3 in evidence the June 7th, 2020 affidavit of Nicholas Renstrom from the Poughkeepsie Journal indicating that this notice of public hearing was published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on June 7th, 2020. I had marked as hearing officers exhibit number 4 in evidence the affidavit of Jenna Jones indicating that on June 8th, 2020, a true copy of the notice of public hearing was served upon the Honorable John J. Baisley, the supervisor of the town of Poughkeepsie, Dr. Brendan Lyons, the superintendent of schools of the Arlington Central School District, and the Honorable Marcus J. Molinaro, the county executive of Dutchess County. Um, and before I begin, I do know that we had posted uh, the the documents that would be considered by the board as part of an authorizing resolution at an upcoming meeting. It included the lease and project agreement. The lease and project agreement includes the pilot schedules, and the uh, on Friday afternoon, we were able to speak with the supervisor of the town for further clarification on a singular point, and that is that during the period from when the applicant takes title to the property up until the a, uh, a completion date that for each phase, they will be paying the equivalent of 100% of the county, town, and school district taxes. And so that clarification will be included in the documentation. And with that, whenever the particular uh, time period begins for implementing the pilot provisions, whatever the year is that's listed on the base pilot payment, that will be the start of implementing the full pilot on the completion date. And that is for um, both the base pilot and the increment. And that will be, so the incremental schedule is 20 years long, and that will run beginning uh, that next date after taxable status date, and it will begin at that point. Um, and the other clarification was that the completion date will be upon the completion of the first building, and the issuance of a temporary CO for any of the buildings. So, for example, in the first phase, uh, there are 2 buildings, I believe A and B, and when either of those buildings is issued a temporary CO, the pilot schedule for phase 1 will kick in. So those clarifications will be made in a subsequent uh, modification to the document sent to the board, and they will be uh, sent hopefully at some point later today, and they will be posted to the website. I'd appreciate if you could do that, Sarah, okay? Um, and So with that, I would ask someone from the applicant to please, Jacob Breckus, I believe you're on. So if you would, just please give us a brief summary of what this project is about.
Sure. And first, I want to thank everybody for joining today and for participation in the process thus far. So my name is Jacob Breckus from Arthur May Redevelopment, LLC. We've been working on this project for over 4 years now. As many have heard me say in the past, we viewed this as a community project from the beginning, where there's I am originally from the town of Poughkeepsie. I currently live in Beacon, and Dutchess County product and proud Dutchess County person. So the project is to take the former Arthur S. May School, which is a 6.8 acre site in the town of Poughkeepsie, 1 block from Vassar College, in the heart of the Arlington Town Center, in the heart of the Arlington Business Improvement District, to take a property that has been off the tax rolls for 95 years or more, and acquire it into our entity, put it back on the tax rolls, and redevelop it into a destination that will provide housing, 187 units of housing, about 18,000 square feet of commercial space, and 110 key hotel. The site is smack in the middle of the Arlington Town Center. It's been vacant since Arlington Schools moved its school out of that location for about 4 or 5 years. And we view this as a win-win project to redevelop the Arlington Town Center. We'll be doing the development as part of what's called an anchor project zoning, which is specifically intended to for projects that catalyze future investment. Being in the middle of the district, we see this as a catalyst for the rest of the area around us, especially in a COVID and hopefully post-COVID world. We see this as good news to get some activity and construction and development happening back in the Arlington Town Center. We view the Arlington Town Center as a local jewel. We'd like to be part of the build out. The project was developed over years. I want to thank the school district, the town, county planning, historic tax commission, tax council. We've tried to be very collaborative, and we're very grateful to all of the local government agencies that have been involved in helping to design the project. Does that help? Does that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I do have 2 questions for the record. Someone on the phone, if you would just mute until, because the background noise is just calling up the phone icon. The employment figures indicated on pages 22 and 23 of the application show that there are a total of 12 full-time equivalents created 2 years after, and then the permanent jobs are listed as well thereafter. And you have information on construction jobs for the project as well. So all the information you provided to the board still accurate? That's what I'm making.
Yes.
Sure. Okay, fine. With that, I'll open it up for any members of the public who wish to speak. Okay, Robert Legacy.
Morning, my name is Bob Legacy. I'm director of the Arlington Business Improvement District. Our executive board for the Arlington Business Improvement District are in favor of this project.
Mr. Capolino, Mr. Legacy is cutting in and out.
All right, Mr. Legacy, could you repeat? And let's hopefully this will get better, please.
Oh, a little slower, just a little slower, because you're cutting in and out, Mr. Legacy.
All right, my name is Bob Legacy. I'm director of the Arlington Business Improvement District. I'm here today speaking in favor of the Arthur May redevelopment project, especially in this COVID-19, and hopefully we'll be behind the major This project is very important to bring new life into our business district. The last couple of weeks, because of the COVID-19, several of our businesses have had to close. And this project puts a shovel in the ground, bringing people into the district who will work, to build the project, who will spend money in our local businesses to buy coffee and lunch. But more importantly, down the road, it's going to add apartments where people may live and shop and dine in the Arlington Business Improvement and be able to stroll through. As you know, the town center zoning code in the town of Poughkeepsie talks about a walkable community. There is no more walkable place in the town of Poughkeepsie than the Arlington Business Improvement District. And in talking to Mr. Reckes, this plan lays into what we have been doing on Main Street. We received a county grant where a new initiative has been looking what can be done to renovate and to redevelop Main Street. So if we can bring the main corner of Raymond, which is Route 376 and Route 4455 East, into a project that is beautiful, enticing, I believe it's going to bring other businesses in the district who want to locate into the Arlington area. I hope that this project will go forward because it is a major shot in the arm to the Arlington Business Improvement District to bring more people into the area, especially apartments, which are very short now in Dutchess County, and new commercial space, which is needed because many people are looking for smaller space sizes than South Road. So it is my hope today that we can move forward on this, and this project may be a reality for the people and businesses of the Arlington Business District. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi,
Yeah,
hi, this is, oh, go ahead, Doreen.
this is Doreen Tignanelli.
All right. All right.
Can I,
Please go forward, Doreen.
okay. First, I ask that my comments be included as part of the official record. I'm opposed to the issuance of any financial assistance to this project, including mortgage tax exemption, sales tax exemption, and payment in lieu of taxes. I also believe that it's possible that the project could go forward without the IDA's financial assistance. Back in December, the IDA asked that same question of Vassar College for their project. They said, can it go forward without assistance from the IDA? And Vassar College said no, that's in their application. And yet, in April of 2020, Vassar College removed their request for financial assistance from the IDA, and the project is still going forward. Since then, they've been at 2 Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board meetings in May and June. So again, it's plausible that this project could also go forward without IDA assistance, and taxpayers should not be asked to share the developer's tax burden and subsidize their profits. Another thing in the application, Section 3B, regarding additional community benefits, it lists as a metric the distressed census tract. And at the June 4th, 2020 IDA meeting, Timothy Dean, the chairman, also stated that the project is a distressed census tract, and that's erroneous. The project site itself is adjacent to a distressed tract, several distressed tracts that are located in the city of Poughkeepsie. So while it's adjacent to several, the project itself is not located in a distressed census tract, and I think that distinction should be noted. Also, the council asked for clarification about the FTEs, and I just find it hard to believe that upon 2 years after the project's completion, it's 12 FTEs. It just seems inconceivable to me that the IDA would grant millions and millions of dollars in tax relief for creation of such a small number of jobs. And regarding job creation, projected numbers are often not accurate. And while counsel for the IDA has noted that there are recapture and clawback provisions, these provisions are meaningless if the IDA is not ensuring the accuracy of job numbers. And the Dutchess County Comptroller, Robin Lois, her findings in her 2018 audit of the LDC and IDA reported that there's no formal monitoring process in place to ensure the accuracy of employment numbers submitted to the agency by project representatives. and in some cases, the number of jobs certified in the annual Paris filing did not match the agency number. So again, you know, there may be provisions, but if the numbers aren't accurate to begin with, you're not serving the taxpayers well. Energy efficiency. Unfortunately, this project, they say it's energy efficient, but it's not being designed, not in anything I see, to any LEED standards, leadership in energy and environmental design. And it's doing nothing more than an average homeowner would do by using, you know, LED lighting and Energy Star appliances. Then I also pointed out in my public comment that there's some inconsistencies regarding additional community benefits, but I won't read those off. And the other thing is that the Section 2C states the project will not utilize the IDA's uniform tax exemption formula, but it doesn't request the real property tax exemption formula. I mean, it requests it, but it didn't provide the requested real property tax exemption formula that would be used. And it also didn't state the requested dollar amount of the estimated tax abatement resulting from this project. And it's also unclear to me how a nearly $69 million redevelopment project, according to the application, will only have a $19.6 million estimated property value after project completion. And my last comment would be regarding the tax revenue. We keep hearing that there's going to be tax revenue generated by the project, but oftentimes those revenues fail to take into account that new development increases demand for local government services, and the cost of services often exceeds revenue. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Doreen. I have anyone else want to make comments?
Yeah, hi, this is Ann Shershed. I'm the 6th Ward Town Council person.
Yes.
And yeah, I'd like to comment that the town board did support the pilot project for this development, and it was a unanimous vote. And my take on pilots is a little bit different, that unless the town increases their budget to provide more services, a pilot is actually a plus for the residents, because if you view the budget as a pie and we all get a slice of the pie, when you get somebody like a development like this that's coming in and going to be taking a pretty good slice of the pie, even with the pilot, and also he's going to be paying commercial taxes in the end. So by their taking a slice of the pie, all our other slices get a little bit smaller. Now, yes, you're right, the taxes never go down. And that's not because of the town. That is because of the fire district and the school district's taxes continually go up. So yes, we keep paying increasing taxes, but it's not on the town level that is causing these increases. And also I'd like to comment that Jacob Reckes has a good record in his other projects he's done, that they haven't required any calls until his apartment in Troy didn't have any emergency calls until they had the fire. So that was their one emergency call. And also, something else. Oh, there's really no comparison between this and the Vassar project, because the Vassar project is being funded by alumni who's putting up $30 million. And that is completely different than what Reckes's are doing here, where they're going to have to be taking on a mortgage of $60 million. There's really no way to compare them. And frankly, the town wasn't going to support a pilot plan for Vassar anyways. It was mute. They were not going to get it. And if they required that, it didn't matter. They were just not going to be getting it. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ann. Anyone else want to speak?
Yes, hi, this is Jim Beretta. Sarah, did you get my written comments I sent in?
Yes, yes. I was actually going to say at the end that I had received written comments from the public.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure you had them. I'm going to somewhat read from those. Okay, so Jim Beretta, I'm opposed to the granting of financial assistance to the Arthur May redevelopment project. Getting financial assistance to this project in the form of a requested mortgage tax exemption, sales tax exemption, and a payment in lieu of taxes will mean that the balance of the project's normal tax payments will be transferred as an additional tax burden to all other taxpayers, including small businesses in the municipality and the county. During this time of extreme financial uncertainty caused by the COVID-19 global pandemic, where unemployment is at an all-time high, small businesses are struggling to survive, and large numbers of people are dependent on federal and state assistance because their employment has been cut off. This is certainly not the time to be shifting additional tax burden for 20 to 25 years, according to the application for financial assistance. Plus, the county and municipalities have expressed major budget issues due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and yet the DCIDA is considering granting 2 decades worth of tax breaks to this select entity. The applicant cannot afford to pay their own taxes. They should reconsider going forward with the project until they can afford it, versus putting the tax burden on the backs of other people who may not be able to afford any additional tax burden and can put them in jeopardy of losing their homes. In addition, after attending the DCIDA meeting on June 4th, 2020, where the project was presented by the applicant, Mr. Jacob Breckus, and where the DCIDA board members in attendance voted unanimously to grant preliminary approval, it was obvious that the board was not rigorous about vetting this project for financial assistance and did not give it the hard look that it deserves on behalf of the Dutchess County taxpayers. I'll offer some supporting comments. Number one, Jacob Breckus was asked by DCIDA Chairman Tim Dean to introduce his team at the June 4th, 2020 DCIDA meeting. As part of the introduction, Mr. Breckus introduced Ann Shershin from the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board and Kevin Sheldon, Assistant Superintendent for Business, Arlington Central School. This gave the appearance that they were part of the developer's team. As such, these 2 individuals who have responsibility for their respective taxpayers became apparent representatives of and for the project. I say apparent, that was the appearance. Number 2, the approvals are being rushed. DCIDA Chairman Tim Dean at the June 4th, 2020 DCIDA meeting, Tim Dean stated at that meeting on June 4th, 2020, that the Arlington School District has a deadline of the end of June to execute this transaction for the benefit of their budget. The DCIDA was asked to expedite the process by the applicant and the school. Hence, the DCIDA board is not taking the time to properly vet this project. Rather, they are yielding to the budgetary pressure of the Arlington School District, who is the current owner of the property, the former Arthur S. May School on Raymond Avenue, Poughkeepsie. The request for an expedited schedule is documented in the DCIDA's June 4th, 2020 draft meeting minutes. Number 3, Kevin Sheldon, I believe that Kevin Sheldon, the Assistant Superintendent of Business for Arlington School District, has a conflict of interest in supporting the financial assistance request submitted to the DCIDA. The school district is selling the property to the applicant, and the school district badly needs the money. At the June 4th, 2020 DCIDA meeting, Mr. Sheldon said that the school district was cash-strapped, and due to the additional pressure of COVID-19, they incorporated the sale of the building into their fiscal process and needed it for their 2021 budget. And that June 30th was the end of their fiscal year, so they needed to record it by June 30th. This is exerting pressure on the DCIDA board, making the DCIDA board the gate to the school district's financial success. I've not seen that the DCIDA board members have the fortitude to stand up to that kind of pressure. If they did, they would have made it clear that they were under no obligation to meet the school district's request for an accelerated schedule. Rather, the DCIDA has scheduled a meeting for June 24th, 2020, 2 days after this public hearing, for quote, consideration and approval of a final resolution for Arthur May Redevelopment LLC, end quote, which demonstrates that the DCIDA is positioning to push this request through with little, if any, additional analysis. I also find it to be poor financial practice for the Arlington School District to book revenue that they don't have. Number 4, I believe Ann Shershen has a conflict of interest. Ann Shershen, a town board member, has a conflict of interest in that she is also a board member for the Arlington Business Improvement District and should have abstained from her vote on this project at the town board level. Rather, she's taking the extra step to stump for the requested financial assistance in front of the DCIDA board as an apparent ancillary member of the applicant's team. Number 5, there has been no financial analysis or business case that demonstrates that the applicant has a genuine need for this financial assistance. There have only been words from the applicant, such as the words on the pilot schedule, and I quote, "With no pilot, the developer believes," let me repeat that, "the developer believes the project is not economically feasible," end quote. I have not heard the DCIDA board ask for any financial analysis or business case, nor have I seen any in the public documentation for the DCIDA meetings on this project. Number 5, DCIDA board member Don Sagliano at the June 4th, 2020 DCIDA meeting said he could not open up the application request on his computer. Sagliano then appeared to receive a new copy of the 47-page application that was sent to him during the meeting. About 10 minutes later, he voted in favor of the preliminary approval. It is incomprehensible that anybody could have digested a 47-page application in 10 minutes before a vote to grant approval on the request for financial assistance. Number 6, DCIDA board member Don Sagliano asked about parking, indicating concern about adequate parking considering people coming into the area. The applicant, Jacob Reckes, said that they only had conditional site plan approval on the full site plan. Sagliano did not ask any follow-up questions such as when would the project be reviewed for final site plan approval. Number 7, DCIDA board chairman Tim Dean asked what the estimate of the number of children was that would enter the school district, and with the associated cost to the district, would there be shortfalls during the pilot program? Neither Jacob Reckes, the project applicant, nor Kevin Sheldon, Arlington School District, had the numbers. No follow-up was requested by the IDA board before voting to grant preliminary approval. Chairman Tim Dean voted in favor of granting preliminary approval for the financial assistance. Number 8, board member Al Torgiani.
Mr. Beretta?
Yes.
You're reading from something that you've submitted in writing already?
I'm almost done.
You're on number 8. How many more do you have?
2.
All right, please continue.
Okay, number 8. Board member Al Torgiani was not present when they called for his vote for preliminary approval. CEO Sarah Lee said that he had stepped away from his desk. When he came back, CEO Sarah Lee had to explain to him that they were taking a vote for the preliminary approval for financial assistance, at which time he voted with no hesitation to approve. It was unclear how much of the presentation or answers to questions he missed, but he voted to approve nonetheless. Number 9, there was no discussion or evaluation about any conflicts of marketplace needs overlap between this project that has a hotel and the proposed Vassar Inn and Institute that is planned less than a mile away. And my last comment, number 10, the project will create only 12 FTEs, full-time equivalents, for the millions of dollars requested in mortgage tax exemption, sales tax exemption, and payment in lieu of taxes for 20 to 25 years. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have anything to say?
I do, Don.
Go ahead.
This is Sarah Lee from the IDA. I just want to state for the record that we did receive public comment, written public comment, and that they would be included as part of the public hearing transcript.
Right, and we'll order expedited copy of the transcript so that they can be made available to the board as soon as possible.
And when would that be, Don?
I'm sorry?
You want this transcript expedited? Is that what you just said?
Yes, please, yes.
And when do you need it?
As soon as you can get it done, thank you.
And, all right, well, after you close, I have to ask you something, okay?
All right, well, this doesn't have to be part of the public hearing. We can make the logistical arrangements, don't worry.
Right.
All right, does anyone else have anything to add at this time? Not hearing anything. I will close the public hearing. Thank you very much, everyone, for your input.
Hey, Don. I don't know if you, Kevin, I see somebody raising their hand, but is on mute.
Who is that? It's not on my.
I think this is Sarah Lee. I believe Kevin Sheldon had.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This is Kevin Sheldon from the Arlington Central School District. I'd like to clarify 2 points.
Sure.
1, school district has not booked revenue that it's not received. And 2, it's not in the school district's opinion that this is shifting the tax burden to anyone else. It's adding taxpayers to the system that don't currently exist. So these are additional taxes that will be received as opposed to shifting a burden to someone else.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sheldon. Ms. Ann
Yeah.
Sheridan?
And Shershin, I would also like to clarify something. I'm assigned by the town board to be on the Arlington bid because I'm the 6th ward council person. I received no payment from the bid for being on the board, and I don't view it as a conflict of interest to represent the Arlington Improvement District's opinions to the town board, but I also vote my conscience on these items. And also, I failed to mention too before in the pilot that the pilot does not include the Arlington Fire District. They're going to get 100% of the tax payment according to the value of the property, the assessed value of the property. So, and also, I don't see it as being an increased burden on the school district because these are 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. They're not going to see very many families and children actually move in there. It's primarily going to be adults and seniors with probably a few single parents mixed in. And also, I also don't see an increased demand on our police force and any other services they get, they're going to pay for. They're going to have to pay for the water and the sewer. And that'll cover the additional expenses to the town there. Thank you.
That's correct. That the pilot agreement does call for the full amount of the special district equivalent of their taxes will be paid by the project. Okay. All right. Not hearing anyone else who wants to speak, I will now close the public hearing. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
And Donna, how can I get in touch with you?